So with that, I'm going to bring up our Deputy City Manager, Deidre Emerson, and our first panel, which is going to discuss building financial security. As I mentioned, our City Manager was unable to be here right now. He'll be here a little bit later, so Deidre is going to cover this one. Thanks. Get it. Yeah.
Can you all hear me? All right, thank you. Good morning again. So as our mayor stated, I am Deidre Emerson, your Deputy City Manager. I have been with the City of Waco going on almost 8 years now, and I have a wonderful opportunity to serve you all in various capacities. And so this morning, in place of our City Manager, I will be your panel facilitator. And so just a couple of things that I want to share out is that our city council is guided by 7 strategic goals. And those goals to support the vision of Waco. And the vision of Waco is our home where everyone belongs and thrives while moving forward together. In order to realize our vision, the financial security of our residents is important. We continue to see growth in our labor force. In October 2022, the unemployment rate was 3.4%. Our economic development team and partners, the individuals on the stage with me this morning, come on, Rachel Pate, and join us on stage. And Andrea Kosar, representing the Hispanic Chamber, Herman Pereira from Prosper Waco, Josh Powers from the Greater Waco Chamber, and John Passavant from Startup Waco. So this morning with our partners, we really want you all to take some time and talk to us about, we recognize that we can't do the things that we do and support our economic growth without you. And that includes not only big business, but small business as well. And so that means that the partnerships that we have and the teamwork that we do with you all matters, and it matters to the financial security of the residents of Waco. So tell us how, and we know that the council invested about $4.6 million into small business, and they continue to support through the general fund budget money to support incentives for larger businesses that come into our community. But how can, what should this population today, what should our audience know from you and what you all are doing in your respective organizations that help sustain and improve financial security for the residents in our community?
Good morning. I apologize. I was just in the lobby. But thank you for the opportunity to speak. I am Vice President of the Syntax African American Chamber of Commerce. Our work strengthens our community by empowering businesses. So for us, working with small businesses means supporting families in our community and being able to help them provide not only a livelihood, but also build generational wealth. In the work that we're doing right now, we are expanding and relocating our offices to provide a first-class business hub in our community. So that means that not only can you seek our resources and our help, but you can also have a physical gathering space to host an event, to meet other people in the community, and make those connections that you need to really have strengthen your family, strengthen your business, and ultimately strengthen our community.
And you go ahead. I want to add a little bit to what Rachel is saying from the Chamber of Commerce perspective. All of us on stage right now are nonprofits, so supporting our missions to support local businesses, there's so many ways to do that, through membership, through renting that space, through sponsoring different opportunities. But really, we're looking for partnerships with small businesses. We're looking for partnerships with nonprofits to continue that economic development work. And Herman is actually our board chair of the Hispanic Chamber as well. Go on.
I guess that's cue for me to say something. Yeah, for sure. From a Prosper Waco standpoint, we're looking at we're a backbone organization working on collective impact. And so that's really, and you'll hear more about a backbone organization later on from Jessica Addis, our CEO. But financial security is one of our pillars, one of our portfolios, and we're taking a macro systemic look at it. And so it's really grappling with that conversation. What does financial security, what does economic mobility look like? And so what that looks like for us is to think about this from a data perspective. From a partner perspective, what are they working on? And so we're looking at, and it's multifaceted. So when it comes to small businesses, we're not out there doing that small business work. We're trying to coordinate and support and be the backbone to these entities. And what are the other areas that they're needing of support and collaboration? So that's the kind of the perspective we take from Prosper Waco.
From the greater, from the Greater Waco Chamber standpoint, we focus our economic development through our strategic plan that is to attract new businesses, that is also to retain and help grow current businesses. That is through collaboration up here with these folks. We also have individuals on staff. We go out and visit about 100 companies a year just to find out what their needs are, how we can help them. We take that back. We meet with folks. We also are getting ready to launch a business initiative and talent initiative. That is to tie businesses with our students. We understand the need for high quality, high paying jobs in this community. We are trying to figure out how to bridge the gap and bring businesses together with those students.
Good morning, my name is John Passavant. I'm with Startup Waco, and we work specifically with entrepreneurs throughout McLennan County, and we've broken that up into different groups and sectors and types of businesses that we work with and entrepreneurs. But given the tenor of this morning, I want to say that you know, when it comes to work, there's probably nothing that's more important and integral to faith than work, when you think that so much of someone's life and family and livelihood is tied to what they do with their hands. And I don't think that's something that the faith community should be silent about. And so coming through, specifically through the lens of entrepreneurs, if you come in, you have a dream, you have a passion, you have something that you want to create, something that you want to see brought into the world. And I think that's a God-given thing, the ability to create, the ability to be inspired and to aspire to something more. But going from that dream to how do you actually do it there's a big gap there. And so what we try to do at Startup Waco is, what are the tools, what are the insights, what is the acumen, who are the relationships and the people that need to come around you and your idea to understand whether it's for-profit, nonprofit, whether it's for the broader community or just a profit-making venture. These are all things that can be cultivated, that everyone, no matter who you are, needs supportive people around them. No one's ever created or started a business in a vacuum. They've relied on people around them. And for this to really be a entrepreneur-friendly city, we need to have networks and mechanisms in place for people to easily be connected to the other people in the city that can provide the gaps and the resources and the knowledge that they need.
So thank you, John, for saying that. And so one of the questions I would have for you all, specifically the chambers and you, John, is how do I access, where do I come to, and what can I expect when I come to your location in regards to service?
Thank you. When you come to our chamber offices, you can look for someone to speak with you about your business, whether it is a startup venture or an existing business. We have a Center of Business Excellence counselor that will talk with you one-on-one, but also connect you to other resources. If you want to plug in and find out what's going on in the community or how to reach someone, let's say the city, for instance, and say, you know, I need something in housing. Well, that may not be our lane, but being able to connect you to the resource that you need in the community is part of the work that we do. And I think when you walk into our doors, what you should expect is that someone is there to greet you that has time to give you one-on-one attention. Even if it's not in that moment, you're going to find that somewhere we will be able to dedicate someone to sit down with you and talk about the purpose for your visit and help you plan out and plot maybe what your next steps are in moving around in the community and navigating those resources.
And for Startup Waco, we have, it's the same thing. We operate a co-working space downtown on Austin Avenue, which people are always welcome to come in anytime. Our website is a great place to understand what are the specific programs that we're doing. And so we're really a program-oriented organization. So whether it's a micro loan program like Kiva, which I think could be a really meaningful step for a lot of entrepreneurs in your churches and communities. Because capital is something that, regardless of the business you're starting, you're going to run into that eventually. And having good thoughtfulness around that and the ability to actually obtain capital to start your business is imperative for individuals. So we operate that program, which is something that can be contained even within your church. And so the website has programs. There's lots of open things. I think this is not serving the entrepreneurial or small business community is not a zero-sum game. It's about everybody, about doing lots of different things that hopefully people and individuals get caught up into this, and then we pass them around to who can serve them the best and the things that they can do. And so it's really about doing as many things as possible, which is where I think a lot of your roles can come in to help us craft these programs and initiatives to be the most helpful and beneficial, specifically targeted to your groups.
From us, we have a lot of what Rachel said. If you walk into the doors, somebody's going to be there to greet you. We're going to help you. If we don't have the answer, we're going to find an answer for you, at least get you down the right path. We also have monthly programs and events that benefit businesses from small, medium, large, networking forum, power hour, our economies. These are programs that, one, bring people together, bring businesses together to help communicate, to help build their own businesses, but it also gives them information. Each session is about something different that can help you in your business. And it doesn't matter, like I said, if you're big or small. These programs help everybody.
Access to a Chamber of Commerce is so huge and so pivotal. So to have 3 chambers of commerce in Waco is a huge thing. And you can be a member of 1, 2, or 3. You can be a member of all of us. We are trying to make our chamber as accessible as possible. So we've actually become a floating chamber this year. We are centrally located in downtown Waco in the 25N co-working space, right between 25th Street, where we have priorities in economic development there, and priorities in economic development on LaSalle Avenue as well. So we have opportunities where we are accessible throughout the community every single week. We've started office hours this year, and so each month we are in a different member's location, sort of like a residency tour for a concert. So we choose a different member each month, and we will be in that location every single week, offering resources to the community in as many places in the community as possible. The business community is growing so quickly in Waco, and the Hispanic community is growing so quickly in Waco. So it's really our job to be as accessible in as many places as possible, and we really just want to help the community.
Herman, spend a little time talking to us about Upskill and how that impacts and leads into financial security.
Yeah, for sure. Upskill Waco is a job training initiative that really aligns a lot of our partners on stage and many of those out here in the community. When it comes to financial security, to be financially secure, you have to have a job that gives you the economic mobility to be secure. And so one of the things that we did at Prosper Waco was start with that question and do the research. What does job training look like in Waco, Texas? And we realized that we were not short on resources. We were resource rich, actually. What we were short on is the collaboration and alignment. And I would say that a lot of times, and people have heard me say this, collaboration is one thing. Collaboration is great, sit around a table and talk about what I do, what you do. Alignment's the next step to that. And alignment means my priorities now are your priorities, and how do we get those things in alignment? And so Upskill Waco took our partners in town. It took our partners in town, like TSTC, MCC, Goodwill, Communities in Schools, and many others to say, how do we align these partners to do job training that not only offers high-credentialed, in-demand job training, offers it in a mobile fashion, so we're taking it to the parts in the community. We're very fortunate to have the city of Waco to basically open the doors to say, what rec center do you want to use? And you have access to it. And so we've been working with the city staff to schedule those throughout the year. And so to have those at the Dewey and South Waco and other places around the community is one barrier we've taken away. And so we realized that we wanted to have access of location. We wanted to have access of the length of the course. And so a lot of times job training can be very lengthy. We shorten those up, and not to shorten them up to make it too short, but to make it where it's something that's accessible for a person. We've also had partnerships with the city of Waco on some housing assistance as well. So members that come into the program would have housing subsidies as well if they qualify for them. So they're trying to find just creative ways to incentivize somebody to go through the job training program, to know that, like Mayor Meek said, there's lots of jobs coming to town. How do we make sure that we have the opportunities for somebody to literally upskill themselves? And so that was really one leg of the race that we spent the last 2 years building. Part of the training is to make sure that not only is high credential training, but it's also wraparound support. And so Goodwill Industries does this at a very high level where they offer a job training, a job coach to follow that person for a year post the training. And then we're tracking that data and keeping up with those folks. And so it's not just somebody being a number. It's not just go through a training program. It's really trying to think about the individual person. The individual person is living in somebody's family, and they're part of a family. And how does that family now have financial security? This is an incubated project for Prosper Waco. We're actually going to roll this project out over to Goodwill. They're going to kind of run the reins from here on out. But we're excited about where this is going, and we're finding other creative ways to plug into our chambers and other ways we can kind of expose this to the business community so that we have this engine, in a sense, that we can plug into the community.
So Herman, just remind us real quickly if there's someone one of the attendees today has a member that would like to get involved in that program, where do they go?
Yeah, Upskill Prosper Waco's the website. You can go there. There's also an Upskill Waco site as well. There's an easy application that you can go on the website and you can apply. We've got recruiters that will reach out to you, to that individual, and get them qualified for whatever course is up there. We're on social media as much as possible as well, so you'll see some postings about what the upcoming classes are. And so that's just a matter of just reaching out, and we'll get in contact.
Great, thank you. And then lastly, as I mentioned earlier, the City Council invested $4.6 million into our We All Win for small businesses. Can you all tell us briefly what your experiences have been with that, and because you all have been partnering with us to ensure that folks have the technical assistance to be able to apply for those. So tell me what your experience has been like with that.
I think that was such a huge win for businesses, and the term "we all win," I mean, that's the perfect description of what was going on. I mean, all of our entrepreneurs could win. The city was able to show, hey, we are here. Our entrepreneurs in Waco, they were the ones who made it, and I feel like we've had so much change in Waco in the last couple years that we can't forget our local businesses that have gone through everything alongside us, been here, and along with the construction, with all of the change. Everybody within Waco has, excuse me, one second, I'm a little bit nervous. But the We All Win program was fantastic. So that application process was the beginning of January to the beginning of February, and our chambers came in. We had put together events. Our chamber worked really hard to make sure that that was accessible in English and Spanish, and the city helped us a whole lot with that. So we really appreciate that level of accessibility. But we've had a great turnout in those applications, and the businesses are still talking about that and how important that was. And we're hoping that there's another round of that at some point, and we're ready for it.
Thank you. The We All Win program, I think, debuted in East Waco in 76704 in the fall before it actually was released to the public, and for the community of businesses, especially those that are existing and feel threatened, as you said, by maybe construction or development or some of the things that are happening around them. It lets them know that the city really cared about their stability and their place in the community. We had an opportunity to work with the East Waco Business League and talk to some of their members about what was important to them to do with the monies that were given to the city, that federal dollars that were meant to undergird our businesses. So in speaking with our city manager and assistant managers, we were able to share insight directly from businesses so that the outcome would be something not that we decided we felt would benefit them, but it was something that they'd advocated for and wanted, and once they saw, could see that their input was valued and was used in a way to make the things happen that they wanted to see happen. And for us, we were able to do a boss conference, which typically talks about the different things that businesses may need, whether it's marketing or it's other support, but we focused this year's, or I would say 2022's, on access to capital. And as John mentioned, every business at some point needs to reinvest, or they need to grow, or they need to shore up some type of damages or some type of emergency. Well, COVID gave everyone reason to pause and to think about their safety and security. It was not only the money that was coming in that it stopped, but then it was the bills, it was the repairs, it was the construction. So with the city's help and coordination, they were able to break down that money into a plan in several pots that could benefit businesses over and over. So not only are you getting relief money, you may get money for construction costs, you may get money to restore your roof. And so for the businesses in East Waco that got the first opportunity to go through that and have the support of the chamber and other organizations beside them, they felt very supported. And for the greater community as a whole, I agree with Andrea. People are continuing to ask for support and ask for help and ask for a next round of that. So I commend the city on their leadership in being able to look to the chambers that are on the ground and other small business resources that really can pull the insight from business owners and find out the best way that we use those funds and the best way that we continue to keep our community strong.
I'm not an economist, but I would say that for those of you here today, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and if you work with entrepreneurs or you work with small business owners, you probably sense some of that. When you see what's happening at the macro level, when you see the bond market going crazy, when you see banks failing, when you see sort of headwinds that we've been talking about for a while at the macro economic level, it's going to trickle down. And when those things happen, the churches are the places that need to have, I think, answers for those business owners that come in. We do a lot of programs, we get together, we network, we've got great opportunities that each of these organizations put forward, but for so many people, it is not a theoretical thing, it's a very, very personal, real thing when their business is turned upside down. And so I don't know the future, like I said, nobody knows how it's all gonna happen, but I would bet that over these next couple of years, we're gonna see some changing tides, we're gonna see some businesses turned upside down, we're gonna see some choppy environments for businesses to start in. So this does not have to be a negative thing. This can be an opportunity, but you as individuals and as leaders of your churches have to be resourced. But I think make sure that the doors are greased, because I think they're going to be used a lot when people come in, when things start to turn upside down, given what's happening. And what better place for them to go? And so if any of us can resource you to provide answers, provide support, to meet people where they are when maybe business isn't going well, or when it is going well, because as we know that oftentimes it's success that can breed a lot of challenges as well, but especially when it's hard, we as a community, as a city, but certainly as a faith community, have to come together with real answers, real support, opportunities to say, okay, this isn't the end of the world, your world, this is just a momentary, temporary thing. And I think that there are things available for the entrepreneurs and the business owners in your communities that can help soften that. But let's make a commitment together that as things pan out over the coming months and years, that we as a community are going to be stronger. We're going to bind together because people are going to need it.
Well, thank you all. Thank you all for your time today. Thank you for what you do to not only work with us as the City of Waco, but that helps to support our community as a whole. As Mayor said earlier, we are an entity, the City of Waco is an entity, but we need lots of other hands to help us do the work. And you all have been there to help us do the work, and we really appreciate what you do and how you do it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. As y'all are filing off, I just want to say one of the scriptures, a personal scripture to me, and this is just to me, I know that we've got so many people with different backgrounds represented here today, but one that's so personal to me is Isaiah 58. I'm just going to share that. If you get rid of unfair practices, quit blaming victims, quit gossiping about other people's sins, if you're generous with the hungry and start giving yourselves to the down and out, your lives will begin to glow in the darkness. Your shadowed lives will be bathed in sunlight. I'll always show you where to go. I'll give you full life in the emptiest of places, firm bones, firm muscles, strong bones. You'll be like a well-watered garden, a gurgling spring that never runs dry. You'll use the old rubble of past lives to build anew, rebuild foundations from out of your past. You'll be known as those who can fix anything, restore old ruins, rebuild and renovate, make the community livable again. And I love that scripture. And so many of everybody in this room is working to build that Isaiah 58 city, and I'm so thankful for your work. But the landscape, I think, in Waco is interesting, as was represented, and as Deidre mentioned, is we have all these jobs pouring into Waco, livable wage jobs. Amazon is taking as many people as they can, and if you go work there, you're going to make a livable wage. And sometimes it feels like there's a Grand Canyon between these jobs and people who are in financial security. And there's issues like transportation and childcare and job training that sometimes I think create that canyon to exist. But you've been able to hear today some of the amazing resources that are available. If you have someone in your congregation or community who wants to start a business, there's a resource for that. If you have someone who wants to get upskilled and make a more livable wage, and build generational wealth for their families, there's a resource for that. If you have someone in your congregation who has a small business and wants some help, there's some resources for that. But one of the things that I think is so clear is that we can have the best resources in the world, but we still need you. Waco needs you, because not only will you be able to carry the information about these resources and connect people in your communities to them, but equally important, we can have the best resources in the world, but if people's hearts aren't in the right place, they're never going to be able to live the best lives that they're called to live. So my hope is that you'll carry not only the information about these resources, but also continue to do your good work to ensure that Waco is that Isaiah 58 city.